Yes, God. Ooh, this lighting, girl. Not in drag, but I'm wearing a cool shirt that says disgusting. Disgusting. Yes, God. Stop calling me mom. I'm not your fucking mom. Okay. So, I just realized. Well, hi everybody, welcome. I just realized that, a lot. I didn't really know how this works. Big surprise. But I realized that a lot of these Periscope videos went up on YouTube, but I saw one that already from last night that was it had the thumbnail was me like crying, and it seemed I left a bad taste in my mouth. I don't like that. So I don't know how I contact the person who uploaded that. I mean, I don't have a problem with them being on YouTube. I don't know how that even happens. I guess you can just download them or whatever. But if you did that, and if you don't, I don't want people to like attack that person. I have to say that. So thank you, but not thank you. Yeah, I don't. That thumbnail. It seems exploitative. I don't know. Anyways, whatever. Maybe it's not. Who cares? All right. So, I get really emotional when I talk about race. It's I'm having a visceral emotional response to it. We can't cry about anything forever. I think that after we cry about stuff, we have to do stuff. What do we like? Figure out what we cry. What are we crying about? Like, you cry about your dead dog. Oh, by the way, this is gonna be I'm gonna go on a lot of tangents. My favorite thing to do. It's absurd. It's absurd humor. Okay, but my favorite thing to do when I'm in drag is to go up to a stranger, somebody that doesn't look very threatening, but go up and be like, "Have you seen my dead dog?" Nobody ever thinks it's funny, but it will continue to amuse me, and I will continue to do it, and I don't need laughter. But just so you know that I'm serious, I have these glasses, and actually these look kind of good. Shit, I wonder what these will look like. These are, help me, I'm very poor. I'm gonna pop the lenses out of these babes. These are Ray-Bans, honey. Look at my fucking forehead wrinkles, girl. Get into those wrinkles, honey. Yes, God. Oh, I can't figure those out. All right, so drugs. Still got a little bit of Kathleen Turner going on, but I have some delicious water to quench my thirst. I'm making a roast. How hot and wet do you like it? Very hot and awfully wet. That's from The Naked Gun. Okay. So, drugs. Now, if you know, oh, by the way, I think my friend Destiny cut my hair. Oh, look at all this gray. Get in. Touch this gray, honey. Feel this gray, honey. Touch this getting older, this Benjamin Button getting older. He got younger. Okay. Yes, God. I'm just looking up on Facebook, Violet and Fame. Just naked pics, just assorted nudes, whatever. I love to look at the little they're just little dinglings. So, my favorite thing, Jane Dior Fierce, doing this. Wiping her tears through her glasses. Jane Fierce, I love you. Okay, so if you watch the show Drag Race, you know that I had a kind of little tearful confession, because when we filmed Drag Race, it was very difficult. At the time, I was about a little over a year sober. Not my first time being sober. Not my first time trying to get sober in a program, but nonetheless, I was confidently sober, and so it was the first time I was ever really away from a 12-step meeting support. The support of meetings, but also more broadly, the support of a larger network of people through that I had become a part of over the course of many years, 4 or 5 years, because I started getting sober in 2008. It's 8 years ago. And so anyways, I just did a laundry list. Have you ever done drugs? Class, have you ever done drugs? Who's done any drugs? I won't judge you, and I assure you, the other classmates won't either. I'll have them executed. Who's done drugs? Raise your hands. Good. Okay. I started smoking pot, got high. It took me several times to get high from marijuana when I was young. It took me several times. And you know, my brother and his friends would be like, oh, you'll know. And I was like, I think I'm high. And they're like, no, you'll know. And that probably the 7th or 8th time when I smoked it, and then it hit me, I was like, I think I walked into my room, into my brother's room in the hallway upstairs, like this, silently, maybe 6 or 7 times. Margaret, what's happening to my mind and body? You know. That was the first day before my first day. That was the night before the first day of 7th grade. Then I moved on to hallucinogenics, LSD, acid. Then I graduated on to. I'm loath to say graduate because I do not believe it's a gateway process. We'll get to that later. But then I also experimented with ecstasy, which I believe was called Molly. Back then it was called Linda. I did ecstasy, and I remember I did it in Montreal. And that was when I was studying French, so I was literally in ecstasy. Got to speak French and roll. And that's when I had my first interesting aftershock. When I came down from ecstasy, I had suicidal depression. I wanted to die. So what happened, the very rudimentary understanding of the chemical processes that were going on in my brain, your neurotransmitters, your brain floods with neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin, these chemicals that are released in the pleasure reward system. I'm not a doctor, but I could be. I'm not a doctor, but so dopamine and serotonin, norepinephrine. Let's not get too chemical. I don't really know, but these are good, happy feelings. These are happy chemicals. They're naturally released, but when we do drugs that involve euphoria, it is I believe it's a process where like it blocks receptors that take oh god, I know this shit, but we don't need a science thing. That's not the point. Eventually what happens, and you don't need a chemical degree, you don't need a degree in neurochemistry to know this, that eventually that euphoria, those chemicals run out. The happy feelings run out. But I had flooded my brain with, that night in Montreal on ecstasy, I just felt, I felt joy, dazzling joy, a lot of energy. I did grind my teeth. I believe it was very speedy. I don't know if it was pure MDMA. Who knows if any of the street drugs are pure? You don't have a fucking lab at home. But it was energy. I remember I had to chew gum because I was really, and I was open, and I was just like, I wanted to talk to people. I want to talk to people in French, and you don't understand. I was so shy as a kid. Afraid of the world, afraid of everybody. So it opened me up. It was a really transcendent experience. And then the day after, didn't sleep, but I laid down in a bed, and my girlfriend, we were girlfriends, like she was my actual girlfriend in fucking 8th grade. Her boyfriend and they went off to sleep, and I laid there downstairs, and it hit me. There's a name for this, which I love. It's called anhedonia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it means literally the absence of pleasure. Hedonia, hedonism. Hedonism is just like whatever, we just do what feels good all the time, yeah. So, whether that's gorging on food and then retiring to the vomitorium and then gorging some more. And then, so No, I didn't live in Montreal. We just drove up. 5 hour drive from Boston. This is when, back when you only needed a driver's license. Margaret, you have a driver's license, don't you? You love to take drives. Not a passport. But then, anyways, fast forward. So I use drugs. I use drugs to come out of my shell, man. You know, I found a great combo in college: speed, weed, and booze. Never a huge fan of alcohol. Never been a fan. You know, I was always naively assumed that that I would know I was an adult when white wine started to taste good. It tastes like the cat's ass. Help me, I don't like this taste. It tastes like the cat's fucking ass. Tastes like the cat's ass. And then red wine tastes like the cat's pukey butthole. If a decrepit feral cat had the ability to puke out of his asshole, that's what red wine tastes like to me, darling. Especially a Bordeaux or a gallon jug of Carlo Rossi sangria. I hate fucking wine. I don't like alcohol. Alcohol costs too much. You gotta wait in line to get it. And people are pushing you and shoving you. You gotta go to a club, or then you go to a liquor store, but then you're drunk. It just tastes gross. It takes too long, and I don't like it. Anyways, never mind that I perform in an industry whose entire foundation is funded by the alcoholic industry. Doesn't matter, darling. Margaret, fetch me an umbrella. Yeah. Anyways, so I always wanted to go up. One Direction. Zayn. I always wanted to go up. I always wanted to go up. I wanted to do stuff. Girl, I'm not a party girl. Are you a party girl? Melissa? Are you a party girl? Margaret? Jacob? How dare you? I use booze to come out of my shell. It's an issue. Upside down smiley face. Yeah, of course. Part of my trifecta, speed, was for energy. I want energy. I want energy. You know, I don't need any more, honestly. But I do. I want energy. I want to do stuff. I want to feel. You know, speed does offer euphoria, though. Eventually, speed does not, because those neurotransmitters, the serotonin uptake re-inhibitor, I don't know all that stuff, but they do, it dies out, it fizzles out. So those neurotransmitters need to be replenished in order, and they can be damaged. I mean, I know there's lots of different research, and like I said, I'm not a neurochemist, but there's a lot of fascinating research on the effects of these drugs on the human brain chemistry. Anyways, darling, did I ever told you that my vagina is really my asshole? Okay, so where were we? Yes, I always like speed. So speed, the trifecta: speed, weed it gets the creative juices flowing. And now I know we're going to talk about weed later, and then booze. If I had to go out, if I had to go to a party, yeah, alcohol. It's the social buffer, it's the social lubricant. But girl, fuck you. Not fuck you. I don't want to have alcohol to talk to people. I don't want it. And A, but more importantly, B, C, D, and E, I don't like it. I don't like to drink it, so I don't drink it. I don't like feeling bloof. I don't like the sensation of not being able to do stuff. Like, I don't like the sensation of, this is not my life. Barbara, let's go out and drink. I want to not be able to walk, or speak, or even hold my body in a vertical position. Will you drag me home? Ugh. It's just a lot of trouble, and plus drunk driving. Not a huge fan of alcohol. Plus, drunk people can be very annoying. They can be very violent. You know, the list goes on. It's nothing new. Blah blah blah. Personal preferences. Anyways, but that stopped working. Or no, I went to school. If this is boring, just go to bed. I'm so sorry, but I want to tell my story because I'm not sober anymore, and I want to get into that. Stay tuned after this 45-minute commercial. Have you ever loved paper towels so much that you've wanted to fuck them? My name is Jeremy Josh Mark, and I have a wonderful thing to tell you. I've created this new line of paper towels that are
Soft, absorbent, quite thick, and most importantly, fuckable. That's right, darling. I realize that not only does my penis fit so wonderfully through the hollow tube, no, I can take a whole bunch in my hand, dampen them in my sink. My sink is always wet, regardless of the faucet. Never works, by the way, but anyway, so. And I just sort of mush them around my penis, and I fuck them all night long. Doesn't abrade the skin on my penis, which is quite sensitive. Did I mention my name is Jeremy? And I just fuck them until I ejaculate, which at this point in my life, let's be honest, it's just a few specks of dust, but it collects quite nicely in the paper towels. It gives it a scent. And then I take this paper towel and I mail it to my mother, who's died 14 years ago to this very day.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the descent into hell, of addiction.
You know, they say that heaven is for a place.
What is that? I can't remember this cliche. It's it's so cheesy, but it's kind of true. See, that's the problem with a lot of this recovery rhetoric, I don't know, recovery talk. A lot of it, they're cliches, they're aphorisms, but you know, they're a little bit cheesy, but a lot of them are really true. And one is that,
Margaret, heaven is for people who are afraid of hell. Hell,
oh no, oh no, it's sorry.
Religion is for people who are afraid of hell. Spirituality is for people who have been there.
Well, you know, that's a different discussion. Anyways, but yeah. So I found crystal meth. I found it through a friend, and you know, the only drug. Oh, well, let me complete my list. So the only drug I've done. So when I left the hallucinogenics, the weed, because those are sort of experimental drugs to me. You wouldn't like, yeah, I like to take a couple of hits of acid before I go to work. I mean, not really. You know, those are weekend drugs. Those are a recreational party drug. I say party, but maybe exploratory drugs. I would say that's a better word. You explore hallucinations. I've still been fascinated by people who have never done drugs because it just never seemed like a good idea. But if you had told me that, listen, if you take this little piece of paper, the sky will melt. What? If you take this little piece of paper, I mean, like that big, like a Tic Tac, and in 45 minutes, the sky will start to melt. I'd be like, first of all, you're crazy, and second of all, you're kind of cute. And then I take the piece of paper, which I did, and I don't advocate for taking LSD. I certainly don't, not unless you're under the strict and compassionate supervision of a parent or guardian or physician. But I wanted to watch the sky melt. Girl, and that sky melted. I used to hallucinate from weed. If it ain't green, I wasn't seeing other things. I gotta work on those. I would hallucinate. I saw kick lines of Rockettes in my carpet from smoking weed. I mean, it's a lot. I smoked a lot of weed, but shit. I saw kick lines. They were there. Are you saying they weren't there? They were there. And so anyways, that was interesting. Now, I don't want to hallucinate every day because we need to face reality or whatever we conceive reality to be, but perceive it to be. And if we alter our perception so greatly that the sky is melting, that becomes problematic when we're trying to go to work. And also is likely to get you institutionalized, which is a lot of fun. So then I got into crystal meth. And crystal meth is methamphetamine is a very powerful central nervous system stimulant. It stimulates the central nervous system. Okay, it offers an incredible now depending on the administration and the purity of the product. The route of administration is whether you swallow it. It's dissolvable. Listen, I'm not advocating for drug use. I'm educating. So you can take crystal in there, you swallow it. You can snort it up your nose and it burns like hell and it feels terrible. You can inject it like many other drugs into your veins, which creates no boundary between the chemicals, the meth or whatever the drug is, and your body. You absorb everything. It's in your bloodstream right then and there, and that's usually when many hardcore drug addicts find themselves doing because it provides the biggest rush. Now, then we come to heroin. The one drug I've never done. I've done a lot of cocaine. Like I said, I've done a lot of meth. Meth was my drug of choice. I did a lot of cocaine. I smoked crack a few times. Did not like it. Never did heroin for a few reasons. I think 3 reasons. One, I've never seen it. It's never been offered to me, and I've traveled in some very unsavory circles. Never been offered to me. I've never seen it. I've never seen any. I've seen plenty of junkies high, whether it's on heroin or methadone or just straight from the Suboxone clinic or whatever. I am very familiar with the effects of heroin, both in real time as they are unfolding in a person, and I'm very familiar with the effects of the ravages of heroin in people, different populations, black, white, man, women, old, young. I am very familiar with the grim statistics of recovery from heroin, from opiates in general, and I am my perception of that is very skewed because I spent from 2008 until 2015 in different programs such as NA and AA. So I'm familiar with people who have rehabilitated themselves, who have long-term sobriety from these very, very powerful drugs. Anyways, so I never did heroin because I was never around. 2, I cannot inject. I am a lone wolf when it comes to drug use. I use alone. I'm not a party girl. I use drugs to help my life, or I used drugs to help my life. And of course they stopped helping and they started hurting. But I did it alone. I'm not a sharer, honey. I'm Gollum. I'm Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Are you familiar with that film, Margaret? It's incredible. There's 6 or 7 of them. I believe they come from books. Gollum in his ring. My precious. Let me take my precious. But what he's really saying is, no, he's not really saying help. He's saying, fuck you, Brenda. You gained that weight and you still look good. Fuck you, bitch. You fat bitch. You sexy fat fucking bitch. No. Gollum is he's obsessed. He's overcome it. He's almost zombified, right? Because the ring, there's always that danger. If you hold the ring, you become overtaken by its evil power. The ring, my best. So there's a lot of metaphors, not only in science fiction or fantasy, not from science fiction. So I don't want to offend any Lord of the Rings fans. Where I didn't do heroin because it wasn't around. I'm very familiar with the effects of it in the pain. See, opiates are different. Opiates are not CNS, that's central nervous system. They're not CNS stimulants. They are CNS depressants and analgesics. Darling, what is an analgesic? Analgesic? Is this a man named Jezik who wants to touch my butthole? No. Analgesics are painkillers. They're painkillers, darling. They kill the pain. I didn't suffer so much from pain. I suffered from what? A total lack of confidence. I always loved myself, though, but I just couldn't make it work. But a lack of confidence, a fear of the world, fear of people. And also, I was always tired. I hated being tired because I wanted to do stuff. So, a CNS stimulant that gives you an overwhelming sense of confidence, an incredible boundless energy, euphoria, and and then I didn't learn till much later on that, the sex. Ugh, girl, I wish I never knew that. But I never had sex. I never went to sex parties. I jerked off for fucking 24 hours straight. Hello. So any former speed addicts, especially gay ones, are very familiar with that, I'm sure. So, hold on a second. I just need to check in and make sure that, I need to make sure that the connection is okay. Everything seems to be okay on my end. Is the connection okay? Good. Thank you. Connection is good. Diana. They still want an American to go, Jacketoff. Wanna take a ride? I watched Contact again last night. Okay. So, so I never wanted. So this is a chilling thing. See, some people might shade me for saying this because they think it will be an endorsement of heroin. But for me, it was actually the most bone-chilling anti-drug message. Rather than showing me, rather than Requiem for a Dream, which, God, if you've ever seen that movie, yeah, try and do heroin after that. Or fucking Speed. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. I saw that movie in the fucking theater with my friend Megan. Megan Waters went to BU. She's a lovely fucking girl. Haven't talked to her in forever. We went to see Requiem for a Dream in the film, in the theater. It was between that and I think The Broken Hearts Club, which is a lighthearted gay rom-com. Vapid. Substanceless. You know. We decided, we had no idea what the movie was about. I had no idea about Darren Aronofsky. I know. We walk into that movie, we get our wigs snatched, and then we get fucked with them. And then we get forced to shit them out, and then we get fucked with them again. We get up, the lights come up, I get up to go out of the theater, I look over, Megan is sobbing. She is sobbing. This uncontrollable pain. Yeah, that movie had me shook. This is exactly, this bitch, my friend Megan was shook. She was sobbing. She was sobbing. But that was not chilling enough, my friend. So I talked to a former addict, and a former opiate addict of whom I know several, because obviously being, going to the program, going to meetings, you meet a lot. And, Trish is based on a junkie. But I said, I never wanted to go down. I always wanted to go up with the uppers, in drugs, in my using. And I just never wanted to go down. I was like, what does heroin feel like? I mean, I know it feels amazing, but what does it feel like? He's like, imagine the most comfortable, physically comfortable you've ever felt in your life. Like, just, whether it's like the end of the blissful yoga class and you're on a new bed that is just the right firmness, and imagine all of these physical factors, right? And then imagine the happiest you've ever been after the most wonderful achievement, and that sense of calm, achievement, of just peace and bliss. And you put those two things together and multiply it by 20,000. And I was like, and then my face cracked. And then he said, oh, but then here's the fun part. You'll never feel it again. Do you know what that is? The devil. That's the devil. The devil is a metaphor. Obviously, you guys. Oh, God. If I'm talking to anybody who thinks the devil is really out there as a devil, give him my number because I want him to fuck me. No. That's the devil. That's the metaphor of the devil, of evil. That's the metaphor, of it. That you chase that. And sometimes you chase it forever. Chasing the dragon, right? I mean, I interpret that as it becomes a mythical experience. That first high can become, and this happens over and over, because sometimes, with speed and stuff, that first rush of euphoria, if you stay sober, if you get sober after being an addict for a while, like years and years, and you relapse, that first high is very, very powerful, and it depends on your brain chemistry and how, your history, your health, and all this stuff, but, it can be just as powerful, if not more, sometimes, at least with the speed, not, with the heroin, I can't speak from experience. That was just this one guy's, testimony, if you will, but, it can be powerful, and you can get involved in this cycle of addiction and sobriety where you blow out all your fucking neurotransmitters, right? And you're like, fuck, I can't get high anymore. So you lean on the support of a program, which is really, for a lot of people, the only way to do it. There are many ways to do it, mind you. And I don't endorse any program, AA, NA, anything. That's not, those programs work because they don't have any endorsements. But they, that cycle of, okay, you have to get clean so that your body can regenerate and recharge. And, that's your weekend warrior. That's your weekend warrior with people. And listen, I know people in their 40s and 50s who do cocaine recreationally. They're not addicts, and that's I want to talk about whether or not it's a disease. I want to look, I don't prepare for these periscopes. I know I want to do it on drugs, but I think that it's better if we don't. I don't want to fucking rehearse anything so stupid.
I rehearse for the stage, darling, not for my phone.
I don't even rehearse for the stage. I don't even rehearse for the stage. Okay. Disease wiki.
Wikipedia knows the truth. Let's find it out.
Disease. What is a disease? Okay. A disease is a particular abnormal condition. Abnormal. Okay, we gotta come back to that. A disorder of a structure or function that affects part or all of an organism. A person. The study of disease is called pathology. My sister is a veterinary pathologist. Isn't that crazy?
Animal diseases, darling. She cuts up animals into pieces and figures out what went wrong.
Okay. Disease is often construed as a medical condition associated with specific symptoms and signs. Sounds pretty basic. It may be caused by external factors such as pathogens,
enemies in the air.
Or it may be caused by internal dysfunctions of the immune system, such as an immunodeficiency or a hypersensitivity, including allergies and autoimmunity. Now, I suppose... Okay, here we go. This is where I think it applies. In humans, disease is often used more broadly to refer to any condition that causes, here we go, pain, dysfunction, distress, social problems, or death to the person afflicted, or similar problems to those in contact with the person. In this broader sense, it sometimes includes injuries, disabilities, disorders, syndromes, infections, isolated symptoms, deviant behaviors, darling, deviant, and atypical variations of structure and function, blah, 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 blah. Diseases can affect people not only physically, of course, but also emotionally, as contracting and living with a disease can alter the affected person's perspective on life. Well, darling, I'm no scientist. I'm certainly no psychiatrist or medical doctor. Same thing. But I think addiction is a disease. I do. And I believe that you inspired me to get clean. Well, thank you. I'm no longer clean. I'm smoking pot. A little on that later. Oh, God, it's so late already. Fuck. I'm not clean anymore. I relapsed after Drag Race. And I feel like I can say that because, and here's why. It was a lot of reasons. The success of Drag Race took me out of my support community. Now, my sponsor actually lives, who is still my sponsor. I still have, he's never going to leave my life unless one of us dies. And he's not. My sponsor is the man. You know when they say you're the man? He is the man. I just can't even. This man is out of control. He's whatever. Anyways, done. So when I left Drag Race, so it was a very a lot of times relapses are very predictable. So I travel all over the world. I'm busy, go. I don't go to meetings anymore. For the first time I had a career. Never had a career before, ever. Never had a career, never achieved anything like this kind of success. So my career became number one, okay? And my sponsor doesn't blame me for that. He's like, you've never had a career, and it makes sense. But no routine anymore, no routine. And so I did cocaine. And then I did crystal meth again. And then it was, and it was spotty here and there. And because my life had changed so dramatically, it was a different, it didn't affect me so darkly. It definitely became painful. And it's definitely not, it doesn't work. Heavy drug use, consistent, sustained heavy drug use is just, you can't really do it, because if you live any kind of examined life, it's just so easy to say it's just a shortcut to happiness, or it's a shortcut to being pain-free. It's a shortcut. You can't do that. But here's the little twist, and I know y'all wanted a twist. I do, as I say, fully Kathleen Turner, I do enjoy smoking weed. Not certainly trying to come for Laganja's gig. I've never smoked weed with Laganja. But I do enjoy it. And it's, I am on what some addicts call, or some people call, the marijuana maintenance program. And weed is good for me because A, it does not provide any euphoria to me. No, I don't feel happier. I don't feel sadder. I don't feel anything. It does kind of get my creative juices flowing. It opens doorways. This is going to sound hippie fucking dippy, but it does. It is a cognitive enhancer for me. Now, it doesn't create thoughts that I'm not capable of without weed. No drugs do that. I mean, I don't believe. That's a good question. I don't believe that weed for me. It's so funny because being in the program for so long, all of this sounds like a justification hearing it back. So that's one of the most fascinating things about, being, weed is not good for weed. I don't use weed to cure anxiety. The thing I think interesting about weed is that cigarettes, we're going to get to that. Fiercely addicted to cigarettes. With cigarettes, that is where the mechanism of addiction is crystal clear. I'm going to pause about weed because who needs another fucking person talking about weed? But I do smoke a little bit of wacky weed every day, kind of, sort of every day. Smoke weed every day. I think it's great. I think it's way less harmful than alcohol. I mean, but the comparison is unnecessary. I think it should be legalized everywhere in the United States and all over the world. I think it could, I don't know. I think it's great. I think it's cool. I really do. I like weed. Anyways. For the longest time I didn't because the circumstances of my life were so dark that it just made that darkness more distinct and unavoidable. And it made me think of even darker ways. It was like, I like that. But now that my life is fucking amazing, weed's pretty cool. And I'm using it as a maintenance tool, and I realize that. But I don't want to use crystal meth, girl. I don't want to use cocaine. I don't use any hard drugs. I don't want that in my life. It's not a good thing. Sometimes it makes me function a lot better. And you know what? And I did it, and it makes sense if you think about it, because I didn't sleep for a year. I wasn't high the whole year, but the first whole bunch of traveling with Drag Race, the adrenaline and the newness and the excitement of the fans and the love of the fans, that, all these fucking hearts, it sounds cheesy, but that's kept me up. It kept me going. It kept me on stage, trying to cartwheel into a split when I hadn't slept in 2 nights. That kept you going. But then the drugs become seductive because I'm taking on too much. So now I'm learning to regulate and delegate and all that stuff. So it's great. And I can do that sober. And plus, weed makes me eat, and drugs make me skinny. I don't like that. I want to be big and fat. I love it when my face is fat. Need a short wig, face very fat. I love that. I love fat boys. I mean, not big, huge fat. I mean, but I don't like skinny guys. That's a preference. You want to talk about a preference and prejudices, girl? That's a preference. Hairy is a preference. Black, white, Chinese, fucking, Indian. That's not a little more than a preference. But you like hairy guys? Or you like smooth guys? Or like big bony guys? Like jangly, like Bojangles? Or you like rubbery fat ones? I love a good fat guy. Like I love big fat asses. Like big I love big fat asses. I'm so skinny. I don't like bones grind. I don't like the bone grinding show. It's like, ugh. I like fat guys. I don't want a whole bunch of fat guys to just jump on me, but like, I don't know. I like all types of things. Whatever, girl. I'm mad. So, but I do want to talk quickly about, the last thing I wanted to say was, shit. Talked about heroin, talked about weed. I won't lie. I'm fat and my asshole's ready. Oh, are you really? But your name is Valerie. I don't like girls. Sexually. I'm gay. Mega gay. If anybody, so, if anybody, listen, I've had some encounters and meet and greets where people have asked me if I'm sober still, And they don't do it in a way that I feel is like, are you still sober, Mary? It's it's been very I haven't felt any negativity. There's like it's a matter of fact question because they're also sober, and we know as addicts, as people in program or people in sobriety, that it is unnatural for us. Oh, I want to talk about the disease. It is unnatural for us to be sober. So it's kind of like when you are entrenched in the darkness of addiction, and believe me, girl, I'm not going to get into my drunk-a-log here, but it's dark. Sure, there are stories much darker, and there are stories not as dark as mine, but, a story is a story, but the darkness is dark and nasty, and it's hopeless, it's desperate, it's painful, it's sad. It seems like it's a fate worse than death, because I was never afraid of death. I'm afraid of pain. I'm a pussy. I don't like pain. I don't like any pain. I don't like to be spanked in the bedroom. Don't fucking slap me. Just rub your dingle against me. Cracking myself up! Oh, would you date a trans guy? Oh, I have a funny story about that. We'll save it for another late night thought. Not a funny story. Interesting story. This isn't the kind of cigarette I want. Barbara, I don't want a natural one. I want a more cancery one. Oh, they're right here. Camels. Fiercely addicted to cigarettes, girls. And here's why. Here's why. This is an excellent illustrator of the absurdity and the power of addiction. So nicotine, powerful drug, very, very powerful drug. Powerful chemical. The body becomes chemically addicted to it. We experience nicotine withdrawal. It doesn't hurt. No, it doesn't hurt. You go a day without smoking, you're not in pain. You're not. It's not. Smoking does not assuage any pain, doesn't take away any pain. It's not a painkiller. The nicotine creates itself an addiction in your brain. It's like a little parasite. It's kind of like the parasite of the addiction world because it doesn't do anything for you. It's not a quid pro quo, Clarice. If she talks about her life on the farm, he will give her information about Buffalo Bill. But the cigarette has no information. I'm pouring my heart out to the cigarette about the lambs and why they that one night they wouldn't stop screaming, so I just up and left. And the purest, deepest white trash details of my childhood, and Dr. Lecter, Turkish Gold, isn't giving me anything. But what's happening with the cigarette is this. Yes, on a certain level, I love the ritual of it. It is. I love the glamour of the old school glamour of it. I love taking breaks. I love punctuating activities with a cigarette. All that stuff, all that social stuff is embedded because people have been smoking cigarettes forever. But what keeps me smoking, despite all the information that I could very well be dying of cancer right now, and I don't need you to tell me to stop smoking. I know I need to stop smoking. I will do it when I do it. Don't tell me to stop smoking. That encouragement doesn't work. So take that. But I'm telling myself a lie. This is the power of the human consciousness. I'm telling myself a lie and allowing myself to believe it. Because what I'm telling myself is this. This cigarette will make me happy. Maybe not make me happy, but at least this cigarette will help me feel better. Now, whatever I'm going through, now I don't have a lot of stamina when it comes to work. I love taking breaks. I'm a hard worker, but I love taking breaks. I love a cigarette break because it's an escape from whatever responsibility I have, from whatever anxiety I have, but it is a fiction. Because yes, while you are replenishing the nicotine that your brain is addicted to, it's more about the story. Because the nicotine goes away from your body rather quickly. Nicotine withdrawal sucks. You get irritable. You want it. You become a little bit like Gollum. But you're able to go along with daily life. It's not like quitting heroin. It's not like quitting speed where you just want to sleep and eat. It's not like quitting heroin when you feel like you're being eviscerated by a paper cut. It's not like withdrawal from heavy drinking where you could die. You could die. You don't have delirium tremens. You're not going to die. But the cigarette is insidious. And the absurdity of the real power of the cigarette is that it doesn't do anything. What does it do? It makes me smell like shit. It drains my bank account. I become a social pariah in certain cities where they're outlawing smoking so fiercely. I just feel ashamed of myself. I become a litterer. I try very hard to give a hoot when it comes to throwing my cigarette butts. But this is planting the seed of addiction and then watering it every day. And the tree never fucking grows. There's no fucking tree. There's no benefit. There's no nothing. I don't get high. You know, I can understand addicts. People on the street dying from drug addiction and alcoholism. Yeah, I get it. Because at one point, it made you feel so good. And that's all we want is people to feel good. Drugs are always going to be here. The argument of legalizing drugs or decriminalizing all drugs, I think is a very interesting one because, like I've said before, I think that the freedom from addiction is a public health issue. It has nothing to do with law enforcement, and that law enforcement is not effective in keeping people sustainably off drugs. The statistics on drug addiction and recovery are very grim. You know that fairy tale where the old maid goes village to village and decapitates young boys and fucks their neck hole with her strap-on dildo? Pretty grim and twisted, isn't it? Well, the statistics on recovery from hardcore addiction to drugs, even grimmer. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Darlene. So, the cigarettes, yeah, it sucks, but you know I love them. It's like you know what it is? It's like when after you put on your suit to go to work in the morning, like attaching a gremlin to your leg that just kind of cuts you all day. And one day he might tear your leg off, or worse, it might travel up a little further and tear your balls off. But you strap that monkey on every day, that little monkey gremlin girl. Anyways, so that's the absurdity, the power of addiction is that the cigarettes, and you know, and I think that yeah, I'm gonna quit. I do, and I need to. I'm gonna still smoke my wacky weed though. But you know what though? I don't like smoking the weed. I put it in a little cigarette because I like that. But I also like these little edibles. Girl, I turned Denver out. Colorado, we got to go a few weeks ago on the season 8 tour. And dispenser, you know, you just walk in, give me an ID. Gotta be of age, of course. Gotta be of age. And 18 or maybe 21. Maybe 21. I'm not sure. Why 21? Why can you can vote for Trump and ruin the world at 18, but you can't have a nice glass of liquor. Fun fact, my dad was the legal age every time it changed. Like when he was 18, he was 18, and when it was 21, he was 21. I think. Maybe not. Who cares? Why are your great question. Why are your teeth so white even though you smoke? Well, the glare from the computer helps because that's a very bluish white light. My teeth are 100% real. I've never had a cavity. This is genetics, girls. This is genetics. This floor-to-ceiling window treatment of a scalp, that's genetics. I hate my hairline, but whatever, who fucking cares? And then, but no, my teeth are... See, I'm getting a smoker's voice. Crest White Strips. Advanced whitening protection for the grizzled trucker. Yeah, I use Crest White Strips. When I went on TV, I felt like I was the only one that thought of this. I was like, vain. I'm vain. Obviously, I'm a drag queen. I'm very vain. I mean, to a point. But I was like, I have nice teeth. I have a nice smile. I'm going to whiten my teeth before I go on television. That seems like a really good thing to do. So I did that. And I love my teeth. I had braces for 3.5 fucking years. And actually loved having braces. Damn, it was just a change. I loved it. And I'm grateful that my parents could afford that because they're $3,000 fucking dollars. If it is hammer time on your grill, you should be able to get braces. Free of charge. Ugh. Because bad teeth are... My aunt actually got braces as an adult. And you know, it sucks. She hated having adult braces. It was weird. But when her smile after that... She felt like when there's an impediment to you expressing joy, a smile and laughing, if you're self-conscious of your teeth, that sucks. Nobody should be self-conscious of their teeth. I love bad teeth. Oof. And I love quirky teeth. I love teeth that aren't straight. Like, who was the Arquette? I think it was like, not Rosanna Arquette. Or, who's the Arquette? Who's the medium? Who's the medium? Who's the medium? Come on, people. Oh, fuck you, Alyssa Edwards. Oh, who's the medium? Which Arquette is the medium? Tell me. I'm not going to stop until you fucking... I'm not going to continue until you tell me. Which Arquette... Patricia, thank you. CM2122, thank you so much. Patricia Arquette is the medium. She has cute, like, little scraggle teeth, I think. Maybe she got them... But it was nice, and it's a change in Hollywood because it's not that Hollywood girl that everybody has. You know, Bianca's teeth are as fake as my fucking Russian accent. But, you know, it doesn't matter. They still look beautiful. Fakeness on the body, girl, it's all gonna rot and die. It doesn't matter. Fake boobs, fake hair, whatever. Real soul. So, oh fuck. I'm so excited we're gonna shoot the first episode of Total Recall tomorrow. Episodes 1 and 2. And I'm very excited to wear a nice outfit. Say something in Russian. Кое-что по-русски. That means something in Russian. Or что-нибудь по-русски. I think it's to both work. Tu veux que je parle français, moi? Oh là là, qu'est-ce que je veux dire, moi? Qu'est-ce que je vais dire? Je peux dire que je suis sensible à l'influence de la pleine lune et au loup-garou. Ça c'est du film, c'est une citation du film La Cité des Enfants Perdus par Jean-Pierre Jeunet et Something Caro. Paul Caro? No. Jean-Pierre Jeunet, Caro. Jeunet et Caro. Anyways, I am going to embrace my Russian character on All Stars 2. Yes, affirmative. That's a spoiler. World Wonder, come at me. And then, speak Spanish? Sí. Claro que sí. No me gusta. No me gusta. Te quiero mucho, Sally Jean. Okay. Last thing I want to say. Hope you enjoyed yourself. You know, and other people are... So listen, I have the comments open because I want to hear from you guys a little bit, but... And I know some people, some viewers of the Periscope are you know, they think the comments are stupid because a lot of you do stupid comments, and that's just the nature of life now, girl, on the internet, and that's fine. My brain is exceptionally good at filtering out stupid comments. I do it all day long. Not stupid, but just things that I can't waste my brain energy on. So, you know, why is it doing that now? It's going like bursts of hearts rather than a stream. I don't know. Shut off, Powerpuff. Not everybody is an idiot, but people, you know, the internet gives everybody a voice, and some people shouldn't have a voice. Not on the internet. Everybody should have a voice in their life, but not everybody needs a voice on the internet. It's just the truth. Maybe it's not the truth. Oh, I'm going to leave you with a cheesy expression. This is so fucking cheesy, but I love it. Yes, God. So, one of the things in certain recovery programs, I don't know which ones, they say they love acronyms. An acronym is an ancient druid ritual where a virgin would talk about her period. She just talks about it like a filibuster, just for hours, and people, you know, they grow bored and they go home. But an acronym in American means just a bunch of letters that mean something. So, my favorite one is when you're this is involved in restraint of tongue and pen. When you're about to say something, perhaps in a public forum, or especially in a public forum, especially if it's in text and it can be screenshot and then just disseminated widely among the general public, it's helpful. It is often helpful to use the acronym THINK, like think before you speak. Now, THINK stands for is what I'm about to say. T, thoughtful. H, honest. I, intelligent. N, necessary. And K, kind. The trick is it has to be all of those things. Ooh, good luck, Margaret. I know you're a grizzled shrub of a person with no couth, but I implore you to try it. So think. Think before you speak. Thoughtful, honest, and intelligent, necessary, and kind. Good night and good luck. Goodbye. If I could Figure out how to make a timely exit in Periscope. One day. Swipe to stop. Swipe to stop. Why is it not swiping? Yes, God. Fuck, my phone thing is, see, this is like trying to make a grand exit and then just getting caught in the curtain. Oh, fucking fuck. Swipe down, you fucker. You fucker. You fucking bitch. I'm just gonna turn it off. Is that gonna work? It's not gonna work. Double tap to flip. Okay. Granny needs help, you guys. Granny needs help. Okay. Double tap to flip. Swipe down to stop. Fuck, it's not working. Fuck. What can I do? What do I do? No, I don't want that to come down. I want the other thing. Don't allow weather.com access to my personal nudie pics. I'm gonna fucking turn it off.